My 5-year-old son looked up at me during breakfast and smiled. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. "Daddy, can we visit my other mommy this weekend?" I laughed. I thought he was pretending. Kids have wild imaginations all the time. But then he said, "The mommy in the blue house, the one who takes pictures with me." Pictures? I froze. Because my wife and I had never taken him to a blue house. At least, not that I knew of. My name is Daniel, I'm 34 years old, and until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had the perfect family. My wife, Sarah, and I had been married for 8 years. Our son, Liam, was the happiest kid I knew. Nothing ever seemed off. Until that Saturday morning. After breakfast, Liam grabbed his backpack. "Daddy, I want to show you something." He pulled out a small envelope filled with old printed photographs. I smiled, expecting to see drawings from preschool. Instead, my heart stopped. The first photo showed Liam. He looked about 4 years old, standing beside a smiling woman I had never seen before. She had one arm around him, as if she had known him his entire life. Behind them was a bright blue house. Exactly the house Liam had mentioned. I turned to him. "Buddy, who is this woman?" He answered without hesitation. "My other mommy." I felt every hair on my arms stand up. I tried to stay calm. "Where did you get these pictures?" He pointed toward the hallway. "Mommy keeps them in the brown box." My wife? Keeping photos of our son with another woman? That made no sense. Sarah had never mentioned anyone like this. I quietly slipped the photos back into the envelope before she came downstairs. I didn't want her to know I'd seen them. Not yet. Because before asking questions, I needed answers. And deep down, I had a terrifying feeling that whatever I was about to discover would change our family forever. Part 2, the photos didn't make sense. The entire day, I couldn't stop thinking about those pictures. Every time Sarah smiled at me, I wondered what she was hiding. That night, after Liam fell asleep, I quietly walked into our bedroom. I remembered exactly what he had said. "Mommy keeps them in the brown box." At the back of our closet sat an old brown storage box I hadn't opened in years. My hands were shaking as I lifted the lid. Inside were birthday cards, old baby clothes, hospital papers, and at the very bottom, another envelope. I slowly pulled it out. There were dozens of photographs. Every single one showed Liam with the same woman. At a park. At a playground. Eating ice cream. Even celebrating what looked like a birthday. One photo nearly made me collapse. The woman was hugging Liam, while Sarah stood beside them, smiling. Not angry. Not surprised. Smiling. They clearly knew each other. I heard footsteps upstairs. I shoved everything back into the box just before Sarah walked into the room. "What are you doing?" "Just looking for an old charger." She nodded and walked away. I barely slept that night. The next morning, after Sarah left for work and Liam went to school, I spread every photo across the kitchen table. Then I noticed something strange. Every photo had a date printed on the back. The dates covered almost 3 years. This wasn't a single meeting. This had happened again and again. Then one picture caught my eye. Behind the woman was a street sign. Maple Grove Lane. I grabbed my keys. 40 minutes later, I was standing in front of a small blue house on Maple Grove Lane. It looked exactly like the one in the photos. I knocked. The door slowly opened. The same woman stood in front of me. She looked at my face, then at the photo in my hand. Instead of acting surprised, she quietly said, "I knew this day would come." My heart started pounding. You know my son? She nodded. Tears filled her eyes. I've known Liam since the day he was born. Before I could ask another question, she stepped aside and whispered, "Please come in." Then she looked me straight in the eyes and said the words that changed everything. Your wife never wanted you to find out, but Liam isn't the only child connected to this house. Part 3, The Secret Behind the Blue House's Final. I stood frozen in the doorway. What do you mean? Liam isn't the only child connected to this house? The woman took a deep breath. My name is Emily. Please, sit down. This isn't what you think. Every instinct told me to leave. But I needed the truth. Emily brought out a small photo album. The first few pictures were the same ones I had already seen. Then she turned another page. There was a photo of Sarah, holding 2 newborn babies in a hospital room. Twins. My heart nearly stopped. What is this? Emily wiped away a tear. Years ago, Sarah gave birth to twin boys. One was Liam. The other was my son, Noah. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. That's impossible. Emily slowly slid a folder across the table. Inside were legal documents, hospital records, court papers. Everything matched. Then Emily explained. Years before I met Sarah, she had become unexpectedly pregnant with twins. She was young, scared, and struggling financially. Emily and her husband had spent years trying to have a child. After months of counseling and legal guidance, Sarah made an incredibly difficult decision. She chose to place one of the twins for adoption. Emily and her husband adopted Noah through a legal process. Years later, after Sarah married me, she couldn't bear the thought of the 2 brothers never knowing each other. So, with Emily's family's agreement, they met quietly once or twice a year. They took photos together. So one day, when the boys were older, they could understand where they came from. But why hide it from me? I asked. Emily looked down. Sarah wanted to tell you many times. She was terrified you'd think she had lied to you. I drove home in silence. That evening, Sarah was waiting for me. She already knew. She saw the photo in my hand and immediately burst into tears. I'm so sorry. I wanted to tell you before we got married. But every year it became harder. I was afraid I'd lose you. I didn't speak for several minutes. Then I asked one question. Did you ever stop loving Liam? She looked shocked. Never. Did you ever stop caring about Noah? She shook her head. Not for a single day. At that moment, I realized this wasn't a story about betrayal. It was a story about fear. A fear that one painful decision would destroy the family we had built. A week later, Sarah introduced me to Noah. The 2 boys looked at each other, then started laughing and playing together within minutes. They didn't care about paperwork. They didn't care about the past. They were simply 2 brothers. That evening, as we watched them play in the backyard, Sarah quietly took my hand. I should have trusted you with the truth. I squeezed her hand. And from now on, we don't keep secrets anymore. Sometimes, the truth hurts. But honesty gives a family the chance to heal.